I'm not so all about that.
All right, so here they are. They're in a brand new pasture. They got anything to eat that they want, and they're going. They're chowing down. They were chowing. They hit the black locust first. That was the bestest food, and now they've stopped.
If they eat too much black locust, it'll make you sick. You can have a little, not a lot. Same with comfrey. I have a whole field of comfrey. If I give it all to them at once, it makes them not so happy. So I give them sections, a little bit, and then it's fine.
But they did go for the black locust first when they got in here.
They also like the dandelion leaves a lot, and plantain and clover.
They're self-medicating.
Oh, they're back at the black locust.
We are looking at one of the most useful trees on a small homestead, which is black locust. And we've already talked a little bit about it for animal fodder, but I'd like to talk about it for useful materials, fiber. In other words, fence posts, tool handles, and also it's an amazing nitrogen fixer. This was cut 2 years ago, and it sent off this one nice shoot, and then these shoots are this year's shoots. And because there's a large root mass, they grow very rapidly and can be harvested in another few years, or like this is about the right size for a tool handle, a rake handle or a scythe handle right about now. So you could harvest that this year if you wanted to, or let it go a little bit longer and use it for fence posts. These are good enough for, you could do some pole construction with this. You could make animal skids. The beauty on black locust is it's really, really long-lasting in-ground contact. So I've heard reports that black locust can not rot in over 30 years of burial. Here we see a black locust seedling. It's probably a year old, just self-seeded right there under the cherry tree. We grazed the sheep around it. They munched it down almost to oblivion, but look, it's coming back. Black locust is an awesome bee fodder. It puts out copious flowers to make all these seed pods, and it's quite sweet. I've tasted honey made from it, and it's quite amazing honey. So, and it has a long blooming period, so the bees have a lot of fodder for a long period of time. The other thing is it's late to leaf out, and so it creates a nice dappled shade that allows understory to grow up quick and lush in the early spring. Chick, chick. So this is a raw pole that harvested, and I found out when I peeled the bark for my last handles that and here's one of the peeled sticks. Comes out nice and clean. This I was going to use for turning hay.
Did you use a draw knife for that?
I did a draw knife a little bit, but once you get one slice down, the whole thing just peels off like a skin off an animal or something.
So not a lot of draw knife marks on that.
No, it's pretty clean. And so you get these nice long fibers like this that are, this one's been dried and stomped on a whole bunch, so it's a little more brittle, but when they're fresh and green, they're very tough. I mean, this, I can kind of pull it apart, but it's pretty nice long fibers. And so I think it'd be great for weaving with. I started a basket and got a little sidetracked, but I think once that's all woven up and nicely dried and hardened, it would be quite durable material. But aside from the bark, the handles are really durable material as well. This is a hay rake that I made using locust for the pegs and locust for the handle, and then this is a hickory stick that's the cross piece. Drilled holes in it, and just nice lightweight rake that we use for raking up the hay in the field after we scythe it down. So that's what we use for our mulch material and for animal fodder.
How is black locust going to be better than other woods for this kind of thing?
Well, it grows fast, number one, so you got lots of material to choose from, but also it gets left out in the weather a lot and it doesn't rot, so it holds its own quite well. And it's very lightweight, but it's really resilient. It's springy, so It has a little bit more give than something like hickory or oak, but it's very durable, and has enough of a give. I like a little bit of a give on a rake when you're going. It's not hard on your body and stuff when you're actually using it. So, and then we've also used it, not on this particular snath for the scythe, but I have on another one. And again, it's a little bit springy, so if you hit something hard, it's not going to break, it's going to bend a little bit. So it has a little bit of a give to it. Probably wouldn't be the best choice for like a pickaxe handle, but rakes, shovels, hoes, that kind of thing works great.
Robinia pseudoacacia, or black locust. This is one of the most underappreciated woods and trees we have around here. It's an exotic invasive, meaning, people planted it, wasn't naturally here, and it tends to jump out of its element a little bit. We have a lot of them in the city of Missoula, and they're starting to spread around a little bit, but not that bad. So don't worry about it being too invasive. The quality of the wood, this is a good example of just a small tree here, and it's a real typical looking tree from Montana. They kind of split early, and they all kinds of multiple crotches on these. We have a little bit of rot problems with these. If they get really big, the interior tends to rot out a little bit and they get a little bit weak, which is contrary to what you hear about these, because they're supposed to be really rot resistant. And that's true. The wood is very, very rot resistant. They say up to 70 years or more in the ground. We do mill a bunch of this at our sawmill, and it's hard. And we saw it up just fine, but if you let it dry out and then try to drive a nail through it, you'll have some difficulty. So I would suggest using it green. Now, we use it in our mill for trailer stakes, which take a lot of abuse, and they hold up really well. I've seen people use it for flooring, for fine furniture, for wainscoting, for all kinds of stuff, especially where durability is concerned. This is one of the hardest and toughest woods around. They say it's stronger than hickory. I've never tried to make a handle out of it, but I'd sure like to. It's got other advantages as well. It's a nitrogen fixer. It can grow great on poor soils. It grows better on better soils. They're darn good as posts and for landscape timbers. So I think we should promote growing some of these in Missoula even more than there are now. They make great shade. I like the kind of shade they have, and they grow really fast. And another giant advantage is they coppice. If you chop this down, you'll have sprouts coming in no time, and they grow really fast. And it's those round posts that are extremely valuable as well. This is pretty typical. It's got thorns on it. It's got these little pods. These are much smaller than, say, a honey locust. Those pods are about 8 inches long. These are small. They've got nice hard seeds in them. It's deeply furrowed. It's got these stripes of light colored stuff in there. That just means this one is growing really fast. It's almost outpacing its own bark.
How do you, if you see other stuff with deep furrowed bark, how do you know whether it's...
You're just going to have to look at the branch pattern and the thorns. The thorns are kind of a giveaway. I would grow these by the dozens, just because they grow so fast and they have so many uses. For outdoor furniture, this would be the very best wood you could use. It'll stay out there in the weather for as long as you like. And it'll get harder and stronger with time, so watch out. If you're going to drive those screws, do it right away. I'd recommend using this stuff half-dried. It machines and works a little better half-dried, and most of the shrinking will be done, and it's not as hard as it would be if you leave it dry for a long time. If you leave this kind of wood in your barn for 10 or 15 years like a lot of folks do, it will be too hard to work with. So get it when it's about half dry. In addition to just being a great wood for furniture and posts and flooring and whatnot, it also makes great firewood. It's one of the best firewood we have. And it burns, you dry it, it burns clean and hot.
If you like this sort of thing, come on out to the forums at permies.com, where we talk about woodland care, homesteading, and permaculture.